Our story begins in a dark living room. The only illumination light coming from the room is from the television. A news reporter reports the news of the day. Detectives sought for questionings in the murder of a local pastor. I'm Billy Jackson. After 26 years in law enforcement, this is Jackson's Case Files, where experience meets fiction. An ashtray filled with cigarette butts on a coffee table, joined by empty bottles of beer and alcohol on the table and the floor around it. Amidst all this debris, Detective Patrick Boone lies on the floor. He's beginning to stir as he begins to wake up. He pushes himself off the floor and realizes he has a sharp pain in the back of his head. As he touches his head to massage the pain, he realizes he has an open wound in the back of his head. His eyes begin to clear, and he sees a body laying in front of him. Next to the body is a steel pipe. Realization hits in, and he understands that he is in his own home. He looks to the side and notices his duty weapon laying next to him, a Glock 17. He picks it up, takes the magazine out. He notices that there's a round in the chamber, but there are 3 rounds missing from his magazine. As he puts the magazine back in his duty pistol, he hears a car pulling up in his front yard. He hears one door open and close. He looks around and he says to himself, he knows he cannot explain this. So he runs out his back door and heads toward his back fence. A shot rings out. A sharp pain goes through his right leg. He begins to collapse. He tosses his pistol as he needs both of his hands to break his fall. When he lands, he realizes that he's heard no commands. No, stop, police, put the gun down. Instead, there's only silence. In his experience, this means that this is an ambush. He closes his eyes and awaits this kill shot. Then he hears a voice, not necessarily talking to him, but talking to someone else in the backyard with him. The voice says, "Don't do it. We got him right where we want him." It's the voice of Rhea Voss. She's a former detective, used to work with Detective Boone, and now she's a private investigator. She's talking to Lieutenant Sarah Williams, who is standing over the body with her gun pointed at Detective Boone. She closes her eyes and she starts to put pressure on the trigger as she's had history with Detective Boone. She's endured years of verbal abuse from Detective Boone. Some of her coworkers have resigned because of working with Detective Boone. As she stands over him, she sees him as a problem. And as she has a weapon pointed at him, she realizes that she can rectify that problem. Rhea Voss understands this and continues to plead her case. "Don't throw your career away like I did. We got him. We got charges against him. He is going to jail. Please, put your weapon away." Lieutenant Williams takes her firearm and puts it in her holster. Just then, 2 patrol officers pull up. Lieutenant Williams instructs the officers to take Detective Boone into custody. As they stand him to his feet, he's looking directly at Rhea, and he says, "Do you really think I did this?" Rhea doesn't respond. Instead, she just jerks her head and directs them to take him to the car. After they take Detective Boone away, Rhea walks into Detective Boone's home. She doesn't switch the light on because prints haven't been taken yet, so she takes out her flashlight. She shines it and looks around the room. She begins to walk toward the body in the room. As she looks at the body, she looks at the bodily fluid under the bodily fluid on the wall, and the bodily fluid that's on the ceiling above the victim. She gets closer to the victim and she notices that the victim has been beaten severely. She notices the lead pipe lying next to him. She kneels down. When she kneels down, she realizes that the victim has been shot in the forehead. A really close look at the body, she realizes that the beating wounds are more recent than the wound to the victim's forehead. She looks over the body and finds a small pool of blood. She remembers seeing an injury to the back of Detective Boone's head. Was Detective Boone lying on the floor next to this victim? If so, how could he have killed this victim and then end up laying on the floor with a wound to the back of his head? The room was telling Rhea Voss a whole different story. And as she stood up, she shook her head. And she said to herself, Boone, this wasn't about you. This was built around you. Was Detective Boone telling the truth about his innocence? Does Lieutenant Sarah Williams know more about this case than she's letting on? Join us next episode when Rhea interviews Detective Boone to find out exactly what happened in his home. This is Jackson's Case Files, where experience meets fiction.